Hello everyone, Programmer's Paradise would like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day today to join us. This is the last in a series of 6 CA webinars we'll be presenting. Today's topic is CA ERwin Saphir Option, light at the end of the metadata tunnel. So real quick, the agenda, go over who we are, and then Shubi, our senior software engineer here, is going to go over the CA ERwin Saphir Option. She's also going to do a quick demo, and then we'll take some Q&A at the end. So who we are. Programmer's Paradise is a leading e-seller of developer and infrastructure tools. You can see all of our offerings at www.programmers.com. We are an elite CA partner. We're number one in the data modeling. We are the number one data modeling reseller for CA. We also have a dedicated CA sales and engineering team here at Programmers, and we also delve into the D&B modeling and infrastructure design tools, and we do offer training services in that area as well. So here you can see our database world view, and you can take a look at that. It just goes over the industry-leading tools for your end-to-end database needs. So we'll go right into it. Shubi Kamakar is our senior software engineer here at Programmers. So Shubi, go ahead and start the presentation.
Hey, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. And we're going to talk about Saphir. What is a Saphir option? Saphir option is a tool that CA sells, and you need that tool. Well, you ask, why do I need Saphir? First of all, because if those of you who have SAP implementations, such as any of the ERPs, PeopleSoft, Siebel, Oracle, now what happens when you have implementations such as that, or SAP BW, all of the information is cryptic. It's very complex. There are way too many tables. Sophisticated consultants are needed to run it. Sophisticated developers are needed to take care of that information. And as a business, you're sitting there and going, I wonder if all the information that I think should be there is there or not. From the other perspective, these consultants and developers are saying, okay, I've developed all this, I've spent all this time into it, but now I have to sit here and explain it to everybody what is this data element and what does it mean and what kind of data we're taking and what kind of format do we have. There's no referential integrity in these tables. They're like, 17,000 tables in one ERP system and 24,000 tables in another ERP system. Metadata maintained within ERP tables now is out-of-the-box metadata. Sometimes your developers do go in and use whatever is given to you as standard and change it into customized. And logical information maintained within proprietary data dictionary. So yes, there may be an SAP view or what have you, but do you have the right and permission to go through the view? Now, SAP information is really something that you need to secure, because here's your business information that's out there, and do I need to look at it? Can I look at it? Can I see what we have and how we have it? So that's the gist of what we're going to talk about today. You might have seen this screen before. And basically it talks about all the tools that CA ERwin Modeling Suite has. Right in the middle, you do have your data modeler, and it's in blue to show it to you that, yes, we create blueprints. Your business design blueprint, your business metadata blueprint, is that what we look at? Now, when we create that metadata blueprint, we get it maybe from your process modeler. Your process modeler, again, is something that allows you to look at what is it that you do, how is it that you do it, what is the data flow. How is the data mapped to it? We also have Model Manager that takes care of your security, and that takes care of your, you can create your models in there. You can go and give you the audit trail. You have your Model Navigator that allows people to just navigate through your models. You have Data Model Validators that validates the model and gives you the right DDL. We also have Data Profiler that allows you to look at your data and say, what kind of data quality do I have? How much redundancy I have? Now, when you're doing all of these things, you have import-export bridges in ERwin that allows you to look at all of the metadata through Informatica and Cognos. You can run your reports, but you always have this huge black box someplace called SAP or PeopleSoft and it's really guarded, like, and it should be, but it's guarded in such a way that even though when you're doing your OLTP transactions here, you can map it back and forth, and you can do it. Because after all, what is going into SAP? Information from all of these different data models or databases that you have may be dumped into SAP, but you have no idea what gets dumped, where it gets dumped, what kind of metadata do I have. So SAPHIR is the tool that CA sells. It's created by Silverwood Technologies, and what SAPHIR allows you is a window and insight into the SAP world. So when you reverse engineer without SAPHIR, you basically get thousands of unrelated tables, right? And it's all cryptic. It's all into some German language. It's very difficult to understand. Maybe, NAME, name, I know what, one column out of all of this, but wait a minute. Now I have name 1, name 2, name 3. What is that? Why do I have field 1, field 2, field 3? How can I go decipher all this information? Now remember, you may have SAPs all over the world, because when you have business all over the world, you have SAP implementations all over the world. It's very easy to have the same data element but different format of data all over the place. So it's easier when you go in and look at that metadata before you start building different applications out there. So with SAPHIR and CA, this is what happens. We actually give you ability to look inside. How? Basically, what SAPHIR does for you is get the information for you from the database, from SAP. It dumps it on the database, and then ERwin becomes your client, and then you can actually go in and see logical entity information in there. Here is the architecture view. So you have your SAP, your BW, your JD Edwards, what have you, right? These are the big black boxes that you have. Through SAPHIR Extractor to be exact, metadata extractor, it pulls in all of your metadata and it extracts it into SAPHIR repository. You can have the SAPHIR repository on SQL Server or Oracle or MySQL, and then when you do those repositories, when you bring that repository onto SAPHIR, now we also have an SAP browser or the SAPHIR browser that gives you ability to look at the information. You can look at the modules that are out there. You can look at the different functions that are out there. You can look at all the tables and views. You can drill it down to see, and basically you don't have to know the name of the table. You can drill it down the information through logical definition. I may want to go look at everything that revolves around customer or product, and I will be able to go and look at that. Now, once you have the information, you do have a choice of either dumping it into CSV or dumping it into ERwin model. ERwin model is your best bet because here are all of your transactional systems. Here's your world view of information that you've already been creating. Here are your data marts, here are your data warehouses, and here's your ERP. You can make sense out of all of this and actually use it for, to do future development. These are the system requirements. Again, bigger the better. The faster the best thing that you could do. And when you go it and buy it, we will be able to help you with it, so that you can create those on your platforms. There are lots of different supporting versions that you could use. All right. Now I'm going to take you through just an SAP BW as an example. All of them are similar, whether it's SAP BW or SAP BW, of course, gives you the business world into different cubes. And as I was talking about, you have the extractor that allows you through the ABAP functionality. You can go in SAP Data Dictionary and Development Environment. All that information can be extracted. You may have your application servers, and then you have your databases. And through your database, you can go and connect that information. So basically what I'm doing, I'm connecting to my SAP world. I'm dumping everything into my SQL Server or Oracle, and then I'm connecting to that repository through ERwin, because ERwin becomes my client now, right? So you also have InfoCube with it. Now, all of that is part of BW now. So all of it, when you go in and run it, and the InfoCube wizard can get run on the information that you already have, and it will create. So without SAPHIR wizard, this is what you're going to get. But with SAPHIR, it'll actually go in and create the wizard for you. All right, so basically now you can go in and see the cube. You can see your fact in the middle, and then you can see all of your dimensions on the side, and go in and basically go in and understand how it's working. Let's go in and actually look at how this works out in your sense when you start working with your tool. I'm going to go in and share my desktop for you. So now you're looking at my Saphir world, right? What I have, so the question asked to me should be, how much does it cost? Okay, if it costs that much, what can I do? Now remember, the ROI is basically it's doing the work of a person that would need at least 6 months to a year. It does it very quickly. It dumps that information. All you need is an ERwin as a client to look at this. Once I go in and buy an SAP or once I go and buy in Saphir, I can basically connect to as many different installations that I have. Of course, as many different installations for that particular server. I can't go sit in here and go to installation in Brazil and installation in Mexico and installation somewhere else. But if on one particular place that I am, I can go and look through it. I'm just going to go into SAP demo here. When you create these repositories, it's very easy to create. Basically, you would go through Repository Manager. Repository Manager allows you to edit the information through it. You can go in and specify what the ERP system is, where the ERP system is created, what is the database type in there, what is the kind of connection that you have. I have it through my SA. What is the source and where, how can I connect to it? Once I go to SAP demo here, I can open it. I also want you to show that you can go, if you have repositories that you don't work with anymore, you can delete them. You also have a choice. So if something goes wrong, if it's not working, you're talking to the development, they want you to go dump it all and show it to them, you could do that as well. Now, suppose I'm working with a repository and the development is still going on, and I have today's view, and then it changes after a month. I mean, I can go back to it and ask them for another dump, at which point then I could go and study both my dumps in there, okay? So now I have SAP demo. I'm just going to go and say open. Once I go and open the SAP demo, now this is Windows-based, very easy for me to go through, and I'm just going to go make it bigger so you can see it better. Now, the first thing you do is I could go through and say, look at the application hierarchy. When I look through it, it's showing me that all of these modules are there. All right, there's an accounting module, there's a basis component module, and customer service module. When I go in and expand it, I can see the other tables in there and so on and so forth. I have a choice of searching for table. I can go in, right mouse click. I can look for a table. I can give it a table name or a short description. If I just go in and say customer at this point, it will go in and look for all of the customers that are in there in this particular tree. I would be able to then go in and look for that tree as well. All right. Now, there may not be any reason for me to go through this. Now, of course, it's finding 470 tables, great for me. But the easier way to go in and look for information is actually through Show Model Overview. Now, I just want you to take your view here. Suppose you are working on BW, right? And you have standard cubes that are already there out of the box that start with 0, and you decide to have your naming standard as Z underscore. What will happen if in the same tree you will be able to see both the standard versus customized. And then it gets very easy for the business to see that the development is going the way you want. Yes, you have SAP View, but like I said, first of all, the pricing is very high when you want to go through the SAP View. You can just sit at your own desk and study this. You can go in and massage the information that you have, create the report that you have. You're not bugging somebody on the other side to always get you that information. So let's go through Show Model Overview here. Now, when I go through the model overview, and this is what people like, I can now go in here and say, you know what, I don't need to know what KNA1 means. I can just go in and look through this short description called customer, and when I say search, it goes in and pulls in all of the tables, again, 472 that we had seen before. I can also go in and see not only I get the table name, the short description, table type, whether it's a pool table, whether it's a transparent table, how many number of child tables, and how many number of parent tables. So when you go in, and you can also sort it out, so you can see which are the tables that are more important, have all kinds of relationships out there. Now, you could also go into views. Views, you would do the same thing. If I go in and search it through customer, I'll be able to see views with customer, same thing with my data elements. So basically, I get choice of going through these tables. Suppose I go to a table here called customer taxes and right mouse click on it and go to table details. Now I'm drilling down one table. I can see that this particular table has 3 primary keys in there, 2 foreign keys and 1 primary key. So when I go over there and go to the parent table, it will allow me to go look at the parent table. See how easy it is to go from one to the other. I can also see MANDT, foreign key, called field takes this client, and the definition for that is a legally and organizationally independent unit which uses the system. Now, those of you who are business analysts are sitting there and going, that's all good, but that may not be my information. So then you would, of course, get that information to your developers, and they will make the changes. Now, one of the things that you can do when you're working with this is also, as you go in and search for things, you can create your own subject areas. Because now I can say, okay, this is great. I have customer taxes information. Now, let me actually go in and create a customer tax subject area. All right, so I go to a create new subject area. All right, I give it a name, customer tax. Cool. Now, it's easy. I could go in and pull in this table over here. Now, what I could do is before I start pulling the information, I could actually go in and look for the table relationships. So that way, I can understand what are the tables this table has, and see how easy it is to maneuver from one window to the other. Now, I can see that this table, customer taxes, it's telling me it has 10 children and 2 parents, right? So I could first go in and pull this particular table into the other part that I had. And let me actually get that information here. So I can pull in customer taxes into here. Cool. Now I come back to my parent and child, and I can decide over here, add all to my subject area customer, right? If I do that, I have 3 tables. Now, it's up to you. You can go with these 3 tables, and then when you're pulling this information into ERwin, you can say, you know what, I have 3 tables, but go pull in 1 level of parent and 1 level of child. You could also, if you wanted to, take all of these 10 tables and add it in there and create a customer tax, because of course customer tax has 3 parents and customer tax also has 10 children. I can say add all of them to my subject area, and it goes in and adds 13. So it says I have total 13 elements. Fine. I've selected what I want. Now I can move this information from my SAP to my ERwin. Very easy, but I can do it. Now it says export data model wizard. I go to next. I can say, okay, which subject area do I want? I don't want the product one. I already looked through it. I actually want the customer tax one. All right, if you wanted more than one, you are more than welcome to select as many subject areas. You go next. Now you have a choice. You can go to CA ERwin. You can go to CSV file. You can go to older ERwin. And I'm going to change the name. I don't want it to be called product. Obviously not, because it's called customer tax. So I can name it now, customer tax. All right. Now when I say next, basically it'll ask me how many levels of parent, child, what kind of information you're looking for. Once I say start export, it will go through everything. See, I had 13 entities, so it pulled in 13 entities. It pulled in all of the attributes. It pulled in domains and relationships. So now my work is done. My work is done in the SAPHIR repository. I already worked with it. I selected my information, the tables that I wanted to work with. I created a subject area, and I'm pulling it out. It cannot get any easier than that. Now the next step would be, of course, to go into my ERwin and open that model. If I go to File and Open, I should be able to see that model where I've kept it, and it's basically a customer tax ERwin model. So I go in and open it. Now it opens up together. If I go to Format Preferences, and I say Layout Entire Diagram, and click OK, I have a diagram in here. All right, of course, I actually bid too much, so that's what I have in there. It also gives me main subject area and subject area customer tags. Here's what I'm going to show you what I can do with it. So once I go through this and I work with it and I make it look nice and all of that, now I can look at the logical information absolutely the way I want it, right? You would have had hours and hours, and first you would have had to take that developer or person out, DBA, to lunch so that they can give you rights to the database. Then you can go in and pull that information out again, sitting with the DBA all the time. And you can do that. Sit with them, waste a lot of their time, and then next thing that you know, you'll be told, okay, you can go buy the Saphir tool. And believe it or not, it will save you a lot of time. Because once you start taking care of other people's time, they realize how important this tool is for you as a business user to go in and look at the information and look at the information in meaningful way. Not just look at it, but I can see organizational unit, sales organization, what are the primary keys, what are the other keys, and just like what ERwin allows you to do, you can turn on your data types, you can turn on, look at the domains, you can turn out all of the other information, and you can go from logical to physical with one click. Now I can go in and see my physical information that's here, so I really don't have to come here and go, I don't know what it means, but it's showing me something. And from here, I can actually go towards creating sort of an enterprise level model from my ERP systems. How? I can have information for my customer in one subject area. I can have my information about, again, logical and physical, TVKO, whatever means organizational unit. I can go from there to the product, and I can create different subject areas through that. And then what I can also achieve from here is, so first of all, I can go in and look at the logical and physical information. When I go to the entity properties, I'll be able to see all of the definitions for entities. So basically, general material data, the physical name is MARA, the logical name is general material data, table class is T for table, and its physical is table. All right, you could also create, now, you could create what ERwin gives you, right? User-defined properties. Who owns it, who's dumping data in here, which other applications using it. All of the other metadata issues can be taken care of here from, from the business point of view as opposed to taking care of it at the SAP point of view. I mean, this saves you, again, like I said, if you're trying to understand, if SAP implementation in 6 different places and your rules are changing and now you want to change the data elements and change the things, this would probably be the best way to go in and look at it. What you could also achieve through here is go in and create a report that you can put out there on the web and the website. So as people go through your transactional systems, people can also go in and look at the information here. All right, so what I've done at the main subject area, let me show you because I really like to look at this information this way. Main subject area giving me my product and my customer, and then I have other subject areas underneath there where I can actually go in and look at the information. Again, for every level, I create my logical separation from my physical separation. When I go to the attribute level, you can see that I can look at every single attribute that's out there. It's attached to a separate domain. I can look at, which data type it's attached to. I can also look at, of course, if it's a key, I can know whether it's a null or not null. And you could also go in and look at the definitions. These definitions, where are these coming from? All of this information is basically coming from your database. It's all here. So when you run your report, and I'm not saying all of that information out of the box, you're going to get whatever is in that box. It would be your job to start adding information. And you know what? Don't get scared. This information is basically coming from a lot of your transactional systems. If that's what it is, and you're lucky to have things defined in other places of the world, in your world, then you would be able to get that information from one place to the other. All right, and then give that information so that you can make it complete. So as you go down, you can see these definitions, you can pull these definitions out. You could also go in and add meaningful other information if the need be. All right, so what did I do? I was in my Saphir, and from Saphir, I actually went in, I looked at my view in the Saphir, I looked at all of my tables, I went through information that was there, and when I first started, I had way too much information in there, right? And what I did was I went through that information, and logically I removed that information from one place and took it to the other. So here, it was something that I couldn't even fathom looking at. And believe me, what you're seeing it on my screen is just 1/50th of what SAP implementation usually is. But it gives me control that I'm confident that I can go and find the information. I'm confident that I would use it for my business. I could also see, look at this, when I'm looking at the application link or business framework architecture, I can see what what are my tables, what are my views. I can then pull that information logically, because I can pull it together so that I can understand that and take it to my ERwin. Now, once it comes into ERwin, I do have a choice of running a report. If I use the report template builder, or, report template builder, of course, gives me ability to create the reporting for, to put it out on the HTML, but I could also do the PDF reports. Again, you may not want to do PDF because that would be too huge, but I can go into this, I can select all of my logical information in there, click OK, and then take the HTML report. What am I doing? I'm actually creating a data dictionary, and that data dictionary, again, let me go in and allow my block content in here. For this particular conference room, it doesn't allow me. Now, I have right here, I have the information. If I click on it, it'll open up the information for all my users to see. They can go in and see that there is an entity, the name is general data, whatever. I could also, believe me, it tells me right here, physical name is KNA1. Do I care? Not really, because now that I'm looking at it from the logical point of view, business point of view, I know exactly what that entity is doing and what kind of information that it's gathering. Now I can go through and traverse through all of the information, so I can go through the attributes and look at the definitions and see if that meets my standards or not. All right, so let me go back to my ERwin. So that is one of the best reasons why you want to pull it in from the SAP into here. Now, you saw that when I'm working with SAP, I do have a choice of going to different repositories. So if I had another repository, I would basically go to the repository manager, and instead of connecting to this particular repository, now I could go connect to other repository. I also have other choices at the top. For the tools, I can compare different subject areas, because basically what I can do is create my subject areas, right? As I go in and build my subject areas, I actually have a list of subject areas right here. So I have customer hierarchy that I pulled in, I have customer tax, I have product that I pulled out. So now it really helps me to go through my subject area. That information is also there, so for me to go back and forth through it. All right, and so we start from the SAP information, we go and create the subject areas, we take the information out. You could also traverse through the information, and just like what I showed you before, if instead of your customer information, if you wanted to go in and search the information for, say, product or, say, sales, if you want to go in and look for information that has all of the sales, there it is. You can then select one of the tables, go through the table details. You could also go, it gives the ability to drill into source data. So if you wanted to look up for things that are there, you could go do that, and table relationships. So table details, what you saw before, you could go to the table info, you could go to the fields, specific fields, and then you can go to look at the relationship if they have, and what are the indexes in the table. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it back to Mike now to go in, so that then we can take questions and answers. Mike?
Okay, thank you, Shubi. Do we have any questions for Shubi? Give it a minute to see if any questions come in. Just put them into the chat or into the Q&A section. and I will read them off to Shubi. Can you also look at BW tables?
Absolutely. You can also look at BW tables. If I had the BW in there, I could go from one to the other. So, yeah, the answer is yes. If I go, and I can actually show them repository manager, if I go to, where's my BW, right here. If I go open this, now when I go to information, it's right there. I was a little hesitant because this is a customer information that I have. But
Shubi, you have to share your screen.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let me go back to the information, share, and desktop. Thank you, Daniel. I could actually look at all of the industry sectors and, you know, accounts payable. All of these are my BW, business information. Yes, so you can go in and look at it. The answer is yes. You can actually look at Oracle, PeopleSoft, SAP, Siebel, and all of those. Any more questions?
Yes, I have both DM 7.2.8 and Community Edition on my system. Saphir is creating an ERwin file that I can open in Community, but not in ERwin DM.
Oh, it's opening it in one and not in the other. Okay, I don't understand why they have Community and the actual edition in there. That's my first question. And the second would be if they can, you know, we could call them and ask, you know, we could take it offline. But what is happening is that it somehow is recognizing the Community edition for whatever reason and not recognizing the actual, is the actual trial version, or they have full license, or I don't know, but, you know, I would like to know that.
Okay, I will forward, it's the licensed version.
Oh, it is a licensed version, and it's still not opening it. It's the licensed version 4.1 or the licensed version same as the Community version?
Waiting for the response to come in. Nothing yet back on that. Not sure. They're going to check. So we'll just take that offline, Shubi, and I'll give you the information of the person that's asking the questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Shubi? Shubi, do you want to hand it back over to me, please?
Yes, I will.
I can specs.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions coming in? Okay, while we're waiting on some questions to come in, we're just going to do a little bit of a wrap-up, and here's Mike for that.
All right, thanks a lot, Shubi, and thanks everyone for the questions. If anyone has any more questions and want to send Shubi an email, they can send it to ca.erwin@programmers.com. Also, if they're interested in a one-on-one briefing or a free data model health check, you can send an email to her at that address as well. Also, you can give us a call or send us an email if you're interested in any product upgrades, free trials, or white papers on this or any of the CA products. And if you're interested in information on CA ERwin training, we offer 2-day in-depth training classes. You can send us an email or call us at 800-221-7710. And either this webinar or any of the previous 5 webinars are available on our website on demand, and you can go to the link that's provided there. And once again, thanks everyone for taking the time out of your day. I don't think there's any more questions, so thank you, Shubi, and thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you. Bye-bye.